I have actually been meaning to make a video about this series for a while, and now that the series has concluded, for now, I thought this was the perfect time to go about it. There Is Something About Amy was uploaded by the YouTube channel Mashed. It is without a doubt one of my favorite Sonic fan content videos out there on the internet, which is insane considering the actual Sonic content there is out there. I mean, for real, there is a lot. Now, normally I never really talk about fan works on my channels, since I never had the opportunity to up until now, let alone anything Sonic related, but the time is now. Despite how short this series actually is, there's a lot about it I really like that I can't hold back talking about it anymore. I highly recommend you guys check it out for yourself, since this entire video will spoil everything. From all four parts of There's Something About Amy, to There's Something About Knuckles, and even Mashed Secret History series, because they all tie into each other in some way or another, and my entire video will be sort of a rundown on the entire Amy series. So again, please go watch it if you haven't already, because I personally love it, and if you aren't even a Sonic fan, I still think it's an enjoyable watch. I have nothing but praises for this fan-made content, so this video will give me an excuse to gush about it, and without further ado, let's get into this. There's Something About Amy stars the titular Amy Rose trying to profess her love for Sonic, as she is wont to do. And our boy Sonic is clearly uncomfortable and has no idea what to do as Amy goes on and on. Now, from the get, I am in love with the animation, the portrayal of Amy Rose, including the excellent voice work throughout the entire run, as it actually comes off as very professional, actually. The various facial expressions, the goofy mannerisms displayed by Amy, and the amazing talent of Eileen Montgomery, or Eileen Monty, which I apologize if I am saying her name wrong. I am very sorry. Her voice work is such a treat. It made me forget that this wasn't something officially made by someone at Sega or something. That is insane. It made me think like this was completely officially made, right? And Amy is just adorable. And yeah, Amy was always cute in general, but she comes off as more of a lovey-dovey dork in There's Something About Amy than in canon, and I actually love it. Amy in the games can come off as abrasive, and in some other games she can come off as kind of a bitch in some cases, but I like what they did with her here. From the Sonic content I've seen from Mash so far, they do seem to like Amy enough to not do her dirty, and this series is the best case to show that off.
What the?
Happy Sonic Day to you! Happy Sonic Day to you! I made you chili dogs! You're my best dream come true! I made you chili dogs! Do you love it? I realize there are all sorts of days. Christmas Day, Easter Day, Valentine's Day, but no day to celebrate the most wonderful, most perfect, dreamiest hedgehog in the whole wide world. So I decided to make one. Welcome to the very first Sonic Appreciation Day! Da-da-da-da! First we can have breakfast, then we can play games with the forest creatures you saved. We can sing songs, go for a romantic walk, and watch the sunset together while I tell you how wonderful you are.
Now, as we all expect, Sonic doesn't take to it and heads back into his house, which saddens Amy. I did find this cute detail that when Sonic comes back outside, Amy wags her tail and it just... man, it just hits, right? It just hits in the feels, but obviously Sonic isn't about that life, and so he just took the chili dogs and went back inside, leaving a very sad Amy. A saddened Amy heads back home until an explosion occurs at Tails' house across the way. Amy rushes in to see what's up, but Tails is fine, with only a hole in the ceiling and a strange black spot where the explosion happened.
I'm okay. Just got a little careless is all. You could say I'm my own worst enemy.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Amy spills her heart to Tails about the Sonic situation, so Tails decides to help out, telling Amy to ignore Sonic as it would drive him crazy. I also forgot to mention that Eileen Montgomery also does the voice work for Tails as well, and oh my god, she is really talented. She really captures the tone of Tails' voice to a T. It's almost kind of scary how well she does at portraying Tails, and Amy is crazy. An eager Amy thanks Tails, and Tails simply says,
Of course! What are friends for?
Now this right here is one of my favorite parts of the entire goddamn series, because this is the part where Amy tries to go on her little mission to ignore Sonic. This whole section is just so unbelievably adorable. I swear to God, just watching Amy go on and on about trying to ignore Sonic with the two cross paths, it is so well done, because I love dorky characters, and this is nothing but dorky, and I love it. It's just, oh my god.
Okay, here he is. Just play cool, Amy. Don't even look at him. Don't smile. Don't say good morning. Just keep your eyes straight ahead. And he'll start to miss you. And then it'll grow and grow and grow and grow. And then you'll get married. Here it comes. You can do it.
And as expected, once again, because I'm going to be saying that a lot, it doesn't work, and Amy goes back to Tails. He suggests negging.
Negging? What is that?
Give a backhanded compliment to Sonic. So once again, Amy takes Tails' advice, with our twin-tailed friend saying as she leaves,
What are friends for?
So Amy goes off to neg Sonic, only for it to fail, and the two go at it for a bit before Sonic runs off annoyed, putting Amy back at square one once again. A distraught Amy cries her heart out to Tails about Sonic not loving her. What I like about this scene is how it starts off a tad silly about Amy crying in the fashion that she is before Tails suggests that Amy should change herself entirely to be Sonic's dream girl. Now, hearing how Tails uses the certain words that he does sound a bit sinister and also sounds really manipulative when you really think about it. He suggests the idea, but Amy goes for it anyway, telling him that Sonic is the only one for her, and that if she has to change everything about herself for the hedgehog she loves, then so be it.
I love him, Miles. And if I need to change everything about myself for him to love me back, then I will. You understand, don't you? Please, say you'll help me.
Okay. Of course I'll help you. After all, what are friends for?
So with Tails' help, she undergoes her change to be Sonic's dream girl, and just seeing all the blood and equipment all over the place, you can definitely tell that it isn't pretty in the slightest, and things only tumble down from here with Amy becoming, well...
Perfection. Sonic is gonna go nuts when he sees you. How do you feel?
I feel different.
Exactly! Different is good, remember?
Yeah, different is good. Different is amazing!
Marty, I'm scared.
So back at Sonic's house, we can definitely see our little blue blur wake up to the noise going on downstairs. Yo, is that my homie Ristar? Ristar? Shit, I never actually learned how to say his name. Only to be met with the sight of a chili dog dinner. A confused Sonic is then called out by the newly transformed Amy Rose. She is now taller, has visible breasts,
Look at them tig old bitties.
a new hairstyle, eyeliner, lipstick, and all the trimmings for her to be the girl of Sonic's dreams. However, Sonic is horrified to see all the bandaged up cuts and the damage that has been done to Amy's body to make her taller, appearing as if Tails disfigured her arms and legs and then crudely reattached them. Amy is mentally not all there. Her love for Sonic, along with all the psychological and physical damage she must have endured at the hand of Tails' quote-unquote makeover, had broken the pink hedgehog. A sickened Sonic claims that he didn't even want this and calls her crazy, which doesn't confirm that indeed, Amy is crazy.
No! I'm better now! I'm a butterfly! I'm finally beautiful! You need to love me now!
Amy, you need help.
You need to love me now!
Now, Sonic tries to go get Amy some help, but she grips his arm to the point that he starts to bleed, which was incredibly uncomfortable for me to watch. It's just the fact that Sonic characters in general have generally thin and dual arms, and that they can be crushed so easily like that, it's just nasty to look at. And pause. Before I actually continue with Amy's transformation into this lovesick, crazed version of herself, I really think that this was incredibly well done in my opinion. More so than all the other crazed Amy or yandere Amy things I've seen out there before. For one, they gave Amy this incredibly innocent and a very cute side to her that we saw in the beginning section of the series, and as I mentioned before, she came off as a dork with a crush, who only tried her best for Sonic to fall for her only to fail at each time. For me personally, it actually made me feel bad for her and I want to root for her. And it is madness how quickly this happened, considering how short the actual series is. Seeing how far she was willing to become Sonic's quote-unquote dream girl is actually pretty sad to me because she completely threw away what made her the silly dork with a crush to begin with in order to become something that she isn't. This leads Sonic to ultimately reject her, and even claim that he liked Amy. Hell, he could even have loved her. But the time for that is now over. He will never love her, and the two will never be together, and everything continues to get worse.
But now, I don't want anything to do with you. Get this through your twisted head. You and me are never, ever going to be together.
Never be together. But I've done everything. I've tried. No, don't leave. You can't go. You need to stay with your dream, girl. Stay.
In her madness, Amy bashes Sonic to death with her Pico Pico hammer, and just in this small instance, there was a lot to take in this entire ordeal. For one, Sonic's fingers are coated in the blood, just as he showed off his fingers in the chili dog sauce earlier. His body is covered up by the chili dog to both cover up his body and to kind of hint how brutally he's been beaten to death. Sonic getting hit actually does make him lose rings, which is actually funny to me, and Jesus Christ, as I said before, I already said that the animation of this series was good, but I just have to say it again. Animation of this series is pretty good. Heartbroken and distraught, Amy cradles Sonic's lifeless corpse until she has an idea to see Tails, as he is pretty much all she has left to turn to. Tails, surprisingly enough, has zero reaction to seeing the dead body of his best friend. And this is both dark and actually incredibly funny to me, but it also proves that there is something up with Tails.
Aw, geez, Amy, I'm not a doctor, but his head does look sorta, flat.
As if the other further times that Tails being sus didn't really set alarms off for you, but hey, we all arrive to certain points like this later than others.
I know. You gotta help me, Miles. You're all I got. I'm begging you.
Hush now. It's going to be okay. It's good that you came to me, Amy. I know exactly what to do. After all, what are friends for?
Amy buries Sonic in a hole while Tails ominously watches on. I really love this scene because you can see Amy switch from her madness to feeling remorse and being distraught, and as I said before, combined with the great animation and voice work done by Eileen Montgomery, it is just so good and just portrays how far Amy has fallen. Tails finally decides that he has had enough with this and twists the knife further into Amy, revealing that this has all been a joke to him, and goes on to say that Sonic actually loved Amy all along and was just too nervous to display his feelings for her properly. And understandably enraged, Amy asks why Tails would even do such a thing, why he would even keep them apart. And Tails claims that Sonic doesn't even deserve Amy, but when she says they were meant to be together, that she was his Amy and that he was her Sonic, Tails immediately spits back.
He is not Sonic! He's an imposter!
What do you mean?
Exquisite timing.
Impossible! How can it be you unless... Who are you?
I told you. I'm Sonic's best friend!
Ladies and gentlemen, Mild Tails per hour has left the building, now bringing in what is known as Secret History Tales. This little sumbitch comes from one of MASH's other series known as Secret Histories, which reveals a darker side to the backstories of beloved characters of media such as Mega Man, Mario, and even Harry Potter. An episode of Secret Histories reveals that Tails isn't exactly the kind and helpful best friend of Sonic that we were led to believe. Instead of being this complete psychomaniac that kills Sonic's friends who get close to him, such as Knuckles and Shadow, and after being baited by Amy and told off by Sonic that he's a sick, twisted dildo. Secret History Tales comes to the conclusion that if Sonic and Tails aren't meant to be best friends, and that Sonic doesn't consider him to be his best friend, then this isn't Sonic. The release of the Secret History of Sonic and Tails was on February 24th, 2016, while the first episode of There's Something About Amy came out on April 28th, 2022, giving a 6-year gap between the two released videos, which is actually insane to me, right? That they actually revisited the character that you figured that was only going to be in a one-off video. It also makes me laugh that folks in the Sonic fandom really like to make Tails into a crazy person. Seems to be something folks like to do a lot. They really like to make Tails crazy. And speaking of crazy Tails, I definitely have to make a video about another crazy Tails, known as Tails' Dark Diary, because there's a lot to unpack there that I really need to talk about. Anyway, back to the crazy reveal. Remember that strange black explosion that happened earlier in the video that I mentioned? That is where Tails of this world died and was replaced by the Secret History Tails. Earlier in the video, you can see that Secret History Tails was tinkering with some kind of crystal, and we can assume that this was what the irregular Tails was messing with before he was killed in the explosion, which again, I have to get back to a little bit later. But before I do that, I also have to adore Amy's little freak out here before she launches that Secret History Tails here.
His best. You no. You're crazy is what you are. And I should know. You kept us apart. You killed him and you turned me into a freak. And now you need to pay.
Secret History Tails finally manages to get Amy off of him by mentioning Sonic's name, the real Sonic that will love her forever, which fully allows Tails to emotionally manipulate the girl, which is actually messed up, as you can definitely see the small, subtle ways that Tails nudged Amy into ruining her chances with Sonic, as he gave the exact same advice to Sonic so the two would never fall for one another and never get into a real relationship. Later on at Tails' house, Secret History Tails is now in front of a purple portal of some kind, with Amy sporting a new, more corrupted design. The two grab hands, preparing to jump into the portal to leave this world behind, ending off Chapter 1 of There's Something About Amy.
What are friends for?
The fourth and so far final part of There's Something About Amy opens up with Amy and Tails falling down a slide, as Tails likes to call it.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of like a slide. And we go all the way down to our new home.
Exactly!
Secret History Tails reveals that they are everywhere, where everything and anything is possible, showing off a multiverse. Amy is met with one of her other lies, and Tails goes on a massive nihilistic rant about the nature of the universe, but Amy really isn't having it at this point. Getting pissed at Tails is the only reason she even jumped in with him in the first place was to find the real Sonic. You definitely see that Tails, despite what he's actually capable of, isn't willing to take the risk of making Amy angry, so he shows her a golden green hill zone where supposedly the real Sonic is, and the two jump in, revealing that the world they left behind is now falling apart, among countless other ones. And with that, we end off this series with the destruction of the many worlds and possibilities, the death of Sonic, and Tails and Amy being so completely unrecognizable from what they once were, they might as well not even be the same people anymore. And yeah, that is the end of my video. Honestly, this was actually kind of really entertaining. It's something I really never get a chance to talk about. I liked MASH's series. Honestly, I've been actually, this was like one of the first videos I've actually seen from this channel, which is funny enough, because I knew the channel existed. I just never really watched the content until now. And now I've been invested. I've been going backwards into watching their stuff. And I think this has actually been pretty fun to watch. I like this series. I really hope they continue more with There's Something About, because I'm definitely invested. Hell, who knows? I might even talk about There's Something About Knuckles someday. Not much to talk about yet, because I want to make sure all the parts are out before anything, because I know there's going to be more. So, without further ado, I think we just end it off here. So, I will see you all next time. Peace out, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, Kaiser War, gone.